Hey guys, Todd Schroth here, eXp Realty, Todd Schroth Home Selling Team. Here with my business partner, Angela McCurdy. Wanted to talk to her today about what's going on in the market. So we're going to be bringing you this monthly series of Market Minute in the Orlando area. So Angela, just tell us, what do you see being on the streets as a market and what's going on entering the fourth quarter?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
First of all, the market, it's been crazy busy this last year.
Yep.
And I definitely am seeing a little bit of a slowdown. I think because school's starting, it's pretty typical for things to slow down, and then the holidays approaching, that's a typical time for things to slow down as well. I'm not seeing as much in the way of multiple offers and bidding wars, so it's a good thing for our buyers right now.
Well, we're seeing more, FHA and VA accepted. I've got one right
That's
now
true.
that was accepted with a contingency sale.
Yeah.
And of course, that one's having a hiccup with the contingency, so it's even more nervous when you actually convince the seller to work with that buyer. So what are you seeing going into the fourth quarter with the markets and inventory and things?
Yeah. I'm hoping that that the market continues to sustain itself, but with what's going on, with inflation and everything, with rising gas prices, building material prices, groceries, I think at some point that is going to affect our real estate market, and if interest rates change, that's definitely going to affect things.
Yeah, we've got our financial planner and mortgage lender coming in next week to talk to the team about what that's going to mean as well, because every half point in an interest rate hike does drop your approval rating by $25,000. And so that's a huge thing for sellers when they think, hey, I just listed my house for $500, now I want to go up to $525. Or you had that variable, now the variable is getting reduced more.
Yeah.
And as prices are increasing on the lower priced markets, and call lower priced 500 and below, it changes the buyer pool that you have to work with.
That's true. And with sellers, you have to be realistic about the value of the property. Just because we've been in a really good market doesn't mean all of a sudden your house is worth X dollars. And so we really want to be realistic about, the property.
And that's another question I want to ask you is what are you doing to educate the sellers? As I know my neighbor just sold for X, how can I get Y? And so how are you having that conversation with the sellers that we're working with?
Well, it's really important to show them the statistics of what has sold and why it has sold. A property that has a lot of updates, it's going to be more desirable. If it's in school district that people want, it's going to be more desirable. And then with low inventory in some areas, you're going to get that higher price. But in other areas, and you get a little more rural, things change a little bit for that. So.
And that's I think it really does come down to community. And we've got some listings that are still 70, 80 days in the market, and it's not the market, it's the property. There's things that have to happen with the property, or repairs, improvements, or something else. It's just the market is telling us that house is overpriced.
Well, we've had a lot of people relocating here from up north, different parts of the country this whole past year. I think that has slowed down a little bit as well.
Yeah, we're not, we had a lot of online inquiries through, Google, asking about moving down here, and they're all a year away, and that, even now, that's the online inquiries have slowed down. People looking at coming down, which that should start picking up right now because the snowbird is coming down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic that the whole thing's kind of taking a slowdown on the shift of people coming. But we're only one day in, so let's see.
Investors are still out there too, and they like to get purchases done before the end of the year.
Yeah.
For tax purposes and things. So I'm still seeing some of that as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see what the next 3 months holds, because we are in the fourth quarter. We've got people want to close before the end of the year for tax reasons. We've got the snowbird's going to be coming down,
and the holidays. Before the holidays.
Exactly. And how fast the lenders can get the things done, and hopefully rates will stay low for a while. We can keep the payments where we want them.
Yeah.
But the price appreciation has gotten out of hand the last year and a half. It also got back to where I think it needed to be.
It does need it. I think it needed to level out.
Yes.
I mean, I think that really needs to happen, or we're going to end up in the same thing we ended up in years ago with the short sales and the foreclosures. And
let's talk about short sales for a second. We're seeing more of those even come around, which is crazy because everyone should be in an equity position. You just had a listing that was 35 or 40% upside down.
Well, you got to factor in people know their property has equity, and it has for the last few years that the equity has risen. But if you're taking out a second on it, or some type of loan on it, the next thing you know, you are going to be upside down.
Yep.
And if you can't maintain all of that because of job loss and the different things that we've had to deal with here or everywhere with the pandemic, all of that affects that. So.
Yeah, I guess if you cash out your equity, because there's a lot of cash in the market in the purchases, so no one buying right now is upside down, but there's a lot of cash in the market, so that's going to help. But again, you got to maintain and keep up with your stuff too.
Right.
Don't over don't even borrow against your property. If you have one mortgage, don't get the second
Yeah.
for anything but improvements on that
True.
property.
And I have people asking me now for like foreclosure lists and when are the foreclosures coming, because people want a deal now that prices have been so high for so long.
Yeah,
And that's gonna be a ways away, but I think it's gonna happen. I
yeah.
think
We'll start
there's
putting the
gonna be
sign
some
off
of
on
it.
the office free foreclosure list again.
Oh my gosh, no.
Back in 1990s marketing.
Yeah, I
That's
don't want
awesome.
that market again.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I appreciate you guys listening today. Thank you, Angela, for being here.
Thanks.
Bringing you guys the Market Minute in the Orlando area. Have a great day.